but look at you. You're sitting here talking. She got a broken jaw, skull fractures, laying dead, choked to death in her own blood there. Where you threw her in that tent.
This is 34-year-old Danny Johnson, a man with a long rap sheet and a dangerous obsession with playing the part of a hardened gangster. But that persona would soon collide with something far more real. On April 19, 2016, authorities in Ohio responded to a disturbing scene. The body of 47-year-old Cathleen Howatt lay soaked in blood, the brutal injuries telling a story of unimaginable violence. What unfolded next would raise more questions than answers.
Changed your clothes, you fled the scene, you went to Reynoldsburg. Does that make you look innocent? No, it doesn't.
Danny scrambled to defend himself, offering bizarre claims that clashed with every piece of evidence.
Dre jumped us both. You can tell me all about Dre.
Look, you want to know? This open, he attacked me, knocked me unconscious. I couldn't get him off of her, man.
It's only a matter of time before detectives see whether Danny can hold his ground with his fragile defense or collapse under each crushing reality check they throw his way. On April 19, 2016, Danny Johnson woke his neighbor, Edgar McQueen Jr., and led him to a disturbing sight: the blood-soaked, lifeless body of his fiancé, Cathleen Howatt, lying in a nearby tent. What initially appeared to be a scene of shock and grief quickly unraveled into something far darker. By the time police arrived, Danny, known for his volatile temper, had already vanished. Hours later, detectives found him hiding out at his father's home in Reynoldsburg. But now it wasn't just about why he fled the scene, but whether his story could survive the weight of the truth.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
My name's Jay Fulton. This is Guy Patiti. We're detectives with the Columbus Police Department.
Okay.
We're investigating the death of a woman in a homeless camp.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Do I look like I'm kidding?
The interrogation has barely begun, and Danny is already in tears. He seems like a grieving fiancé until he drops a name, a single detail that could either build or shatter his narrative.
No. Dre, the black dude, Dre. He sleeps right up there beside us. He came, ran at us last night. He came at me with the knife, and I grabbed the blade. He came back, cold cut me, and split my mouth wide open. And then she jumped on him to pull him off, and he threw her. And then Ed, some dude named Ed, came running up with it, and then he started mauling on me. I had a parole violation, gentlemen. I know. I called the ambulance. And sent them up there to give us help. I have a parole violation, so I can't come make a police report for a frickin' assault or dude beating us up in a camp or homeless. They're always attacking us out there. It's been the 4th time this month we've been attacked.
Okay. Well,
she passed away.
You want to? I don't know. I don't know anybody up there. You think you can help us with this, Danny? Understand what's going on?
I don't really know exactly what's going on. You said you're investigating the death of someone?
Yeah. Do you want to tell us your side of the story?
What's there to say?
Well, you just were telling me a whole tale.
I'm giving you the facts.
Okay.
Last night, Kitty and I, that's my fiancée, Kathleen.
Okay.
Her and I were all up there drinking and partying and hanging out with everybody.
I want to find out all about this stuff, but we got to protect you, okay?
Dre jumped us both.
You can tell me all about Dre.
Look. Do you want to know? Just split the book open. He attacked me, knocked me unconscious. I couldn't get him off of her, man.
Danny, we want. There's some questions we want to ask you about that, but we can't do that because we're here in police headquarters without reading your rights.
Danny's justification for fleeing the scene didn't add up, and it was only the first of many lies he would go on to tell. Danny's desperation to prove his innocence seems to stem from what appears to be guilt. He doesn't even let the detectives read him his rights, a move that would only backfire later.
Okay.
I understand.
So
I understand anything that I say can and will be used against me.
But we have to go through that formality first, okay? Then we'll be.
So there is a definite homeless camp. What you're saying is that you have a woman that has been passed.
I didn't say anything about a woman. I said we're investigating the death in a homeless camp.
Well, it has to be her. I called I live with them. I'm up there in the homeless camp. I called the frickin' ambulance after frickin' dude started mauling us. I'm not out. I wake up frickin' covered in frickin' blood. I'm laying next to her. She's laying next to me. And then I
Have
go...
you had your rights read to you before, Danny?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you got something to tell us.
I'm telling you.
Well, we got to do this first.
man jumped the out of us, and the dude Ed came down and started kicking my head.
We got to do this first. We need to know when all this happened. We need to know who was there. And we want to ask you questions about all this.
Oh my
We're
God.
investigating a death. That's why we're here. You know where you are right now?
Oh yeah, I understand where I'm at.
Okay, please head forward.
Please just tell me my wife is not dead.
Leaving a dying fiancé out of fear of arrest doesn't sound like a convincing excuse. But the real test will come when detectives corner him, and he's forced to defend the indefensible while concealing a secret far more despicable.
Thank you.
Danny, so your father, what's your father's name?
Dan Johnson.
Okay, Dan Johnson. Are you junior?
Second.
The second? Okay. And what was your purpose for going out and check on your dad today?
I went out there to stay safe. Went out there to see him and go to the house because me and her have been attacked 4 times this week. And then I woke up this morning with her and I laying on the ground.
Okay,
and
where were you laying?
I see by my tent area, I guess you could say. I don't know, my front door threshold. I don't know, on the concrete out in front of it, I guess.
Okay. And what time was that?
I really don't know. It was sometime this morning. And I roll over, I look at her, she's looking like somebody mauled her. I remember dude attacked me, and I got knocked out. And I don't really remember too much.
Where was she laying?
Where was we at? And we were... No, this is the week before. That's the week before we woke up. No, she was in the tent.
Whose tent?
Our tent. Right where we was laying at. That's where we passed out. She was, please, you gotta tell me it's not, he didn't.
Who's he?
Dre and Ed, they jumped us, man. They started mauling me.
Dre?
And then she goes
Let's start with Dre.
She goes to jump on his frickin' back and he throws her off.
Who's Dre? Describe Dre to me.
Oh, I don't know. About 6 foot black male. Stays up in that stays like in a couple sites down from us. Her and I were...
A couple sites down, like toward the bridge?
Yeah. Her and I were in our tent this morning, and I woke up
by himself.
He's got some girl in there with him.
White girl, black girl.
White girl. We were in the tent. She came in with me. I'm looking at her. I passed out.
Wait. Let me go back. So Dre.
Oh.
And then who's Ed? Ed.
Just the guy up there.
Ed what? You know Ed's last name?
I don't even know nobody's name up there.
You know Dre and you know Ed. Is Ed a white guy or a black guy?
White guy.
And how old?
I don't know.
How tall?
Early 40s. Guys, please, are you investigating the death of a short blonde girl?
You're doing fine now. We're not out there right now, so we're in here talking to you because people put you living with this camp.
Okay, yeah.
And you left this morning before we had a chance to talk to you. So
I had
we're
to.
trying
I had a
talk to
warrant for
everyone.
my arrest, and when I saw all the cops swarming, I went down there. And
Where were you when you saw the cops swarming?
I was walking down. I went down to the other camp, and I had somebody. I don't remember who it was. A random couple down. I don't even know their name. They're just new up there.
Okay.
I said, She's laying on the ground. She's laying on the ground."
Did you go wake somebody up?
I did.
Who'd you wake up?
I don't know the couple's name.
Okay, and whose tent was your girlfriend in when you woke these people up?
Ours. She was laying in the tent. She was laying in the threshold. I was already knocked out, passed out. At some point, she must have crawled, because she didn't go to bed with me. So at some point, she had to crawl up in there and lay down.
Tell me about your night. Just go ahead and tell me.
We'll see me and a bunch of random individuals up there were drinking and carrying on.
Okay.
And then at some point,
random individuals.
just people that live on the hill. Tent City people.
Okay, you don't know any of their names.
Nicknames.
Okay, how long you been up there?
I don't know, a couple months.
You don't know anybody's name.
They don't give you their name. They give you nicknames.
What do you know, man?
Danny appears devastated by the death of his fiancée, or so it seems. But beneath the tears, he points to their neighbor, Dre, hoping to shift the blame for the horrors he alone committed. His grief, however, raises more questions than answers. What was once a loving relationship has spiraled into darkness. Now, detectives are closing in on a motive that could expose him and unravel the carefully crafted defense he's clinging to.
Were you and your girlfriend fighting?
No.
So somebody up there told me you were? That would be a lie?
It would have to be, because her and I have never got into it for
You've
any
never
reason.
got into it with her?
Not with her, no.
So the people at Mountain Street are lying to me? When she comes in there, beat the shit sometimes?
What do you mean? I've never put my hands on her.
What do you think I mean?
I understand what you're saying, but sir, I have never put my hands on my freaking girlfriend, dude. Now,
So she's never reported you to the police for...
No, of course not.
And you
For
never
any reason.
have you ever put your hands on anybody?
Oh yes, I have.
Who
Once upon a time.
do you put your hands on?
I never actually hit anybody. I was charged with assaulting some police officers a long time ago, but that was a...
Have you ever been charged with assaulting anybody else? Have you ever done time in the penitentiary for assaulting somebody?
This the CPD situation that was a trumped up charge I couldn't really get out of.
Well, tell me about that trumped up charge.
I was resisting arrest.
Oh, here we go. Hey.
Thanks for... God bless you, dude.
During the investigation, a witness named McQueen from the camp revealed that she had often seen Kathleen with swollen, blackened eyes, suggesting that Danny was the cause. It became clear that the couple's relationship was fractured, and all the grief Danny showed was just a facade of sympathy. The detectives gave him exactly what he asked for, feeding his illusion that he was the one running the show. But little did he know, this threat was just a calculated move, a trap designed to lower his guard and extract a confession. What led to Kathleen's horrifying tragedy is about to surface, but it will just be his version of the story.
You were resisting arrest?
I was resisting arrest, open container, resisting arrest, and in the process of the resisting arrest, one of the officers got frickin' nudged, kneed, or kicked, and then I was charged with frickin' assault.
So you've never, your girlfriend, there's never been any kind of history. Anybody would tell us anything about that is making that up.
Oh yeah, by all means.
Anybody and everybody.
They would have to be, because I don't associate with anybody.
What time was that all going on?
Sometime in the early morning hours.
And who'd you go to get help?
The couple down there, they're a young couple. I don't really know their freaking name, man. I don't know their names. They've only been up there a couple weeks. I know the other dude, Ed's in there, and some other chick and a dog, but they ain't been up there but a week.
Ed, you went out there to Reynoldsburg this morning to get protection from Dre?
I went out there to freaking hide.
From who?
From Dre and the other character. And the
Who's the
dude's
other
been trying
character?
to kill me for freaking a month now.
Who's that character?
I don't know who he is. He's a random guy, man. They come up there and drank with Cowboy and a few other people, and then he started mauling me, dude. He's on me, busting me in my she jumps on me.
This is how you're going to do this?
What do you want me to say?
The truth.
I got into a fight with another man for the most part.
Did you care about your girlfriend?
Well, with all my heart, I love her.
Did you sometimes drink too much?
Well, of course, we both do. She's been an alcoholic for 30 years.
And do you sometimes do things you can't remember when you're drinking too much? Because
I have been in a situation like that a couple of times where I don't really recall a lot of things.
Okay, here's the deal, Daniel.
Dude mauled us last night. I remember.
You got knocked out. You didn't know what the happened, right?
I remember him. I remember her jumping on his neck, and he flung her out, and then he came back in, blasted me, and then started walking.
How long were you
towards her.
knocked out for?
I don't know, until early morning, until daylight.
Were you passed out or knocked out?
Knocked out, because I would probably a little bit of both.
Because I don't see any. Where did this knockout punch land?
Well, I got a nice big solid back here behind my ear. I feel that part.
Once again, he blamed his neighbor, Dre, this time crafting an entire story to back it up. His fabricated story was never built to last. What he doesn't realize is that he has already slipped. The detectives are now just laying in wait for another such mistake to strike back. Each new lie doesn't protect him, they expose him.
Dude, I was drunk. I was a skunk.
Okay, so maybe you don't remember things
drunk.
correctly.
I remember Dre and I
She was
fighting.
not in your tent.
Well, where was she?
In your neighbor's tent.
How's that?
The kids that just moved out 4 days ago. Actually,
They've been gone for a week.
actually, 10th. They've been gone 4 days, and that's where your girlfriend was found this morning.
Well,
How did she get there?
I don't know.
That's where you took Edgar to show him. You woke Edgar up.
I went down and talked to freaking the young couple. Ed and them were in their tent. The guy with the doll.
So everybody else down there in this camp is lying to us, and you're telling us the truth.
So,
The young couple, Edgar, Cowboy, Tony.
Well, what are they saying? What are they talking? Did you talk to
What
Ray
do
and
you
him?
think they're saying?
Obviously, from
They're
what you're
saying-
telling me,
you know
that
what they're saying that you smacked her around all the time.
that's horse. It is horse. Dude started jumping us, man. Dre, I'm pretty sure his name's Dre. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it's his name. Dude took off on me, man.
The only person that took off this morning.
I have a
It's
parole
Daniel.
violation, so I didn't
You
wait
think
around
you're
for
the
the
only guy out
ambulance.
there that's got problems with the police?
I understand that, but I had a warrant, and I went down there and had them call the ambulance because she's laying there beat up, dude. So that's my understanding. I woke up. Now maybe I
Where
wasn't
was
in
she
my
laying
tent.
beat up?
Maybe we were in the tent next to us. Maybe she was, because she was laying like, yeah, she had to crawl, because I was already in there. She had to crawl up in there with me at some point. Anyhow, Dre and I started frickin' fighting down there verbally for the most part, and then I came back down towards my tent area. She's, far as I frickin' know, at that time, she's just sitting there frickin', sipping her beer and reading her book. Well, not a book, flipping through on the little magazines. And then I carry on like this motherfucker just did this, that, and the other. And there's a guy comes down, pops me right up out of my chair, man. And then from there, we kind of scuffle a little, but then he put me down, hit me with a good one, and then she jumped on his back. He flung her the off.
Why? Why would he attack you?
We're all drunk and loud and
Did
disorderly.
you say anything to him?
I probably did.
What'd you say?
Who knows?
What'd you say?
I don't remember specifically, but I did mouth off to him.
Okay.
It was kind of my fault for the initiation, I would imagine.
Well, you were fighting with Cowboy first.
No, me and Cowboy never got into a fight.
That's what we're hearing. You and Cowboy were arguing.
But I'm to be honest with you, that's not the
You
case.
two were arguing, and then you got on top of Cowboy. That's what we're hearing.
No,
And Dre
no.
stepped in to help Cowboy out, and you got upset.
That could be. I mean, I'm not
Okay.
gonna, but me and Cowboy have never had our differences for any
You were
reason.
pretty drunk yesterday.
But that don't explain why Dre popped me.
Yeah, because you called him a...
Well, I don't call anybody. I'm not racist. Okay, well, this is what you guys are telling me. I
You
guess
know,
you
that's
guys...
what everybody else out there said. Okay, I wasn't out there.
I wouldn't do that.
Okay, well, that's what we heard.
One crucial detail stands out. His supposed remorse for Kathleen has been pushed aside. All his energy is now focused on one thing: defending himself with a made-up story. At this point, things are about to get even more interesting. The detective starts pressing Danny about how Kathleen lost consciousness. And Danny, he's got a neatly packaged story ready to serve. The detectives, however, aren't buying it, and they're about to find out just how deep Danny's lies go.
Where are the clothes you had on? The ones you said were covered in blood.
Imagine freaking...
Where did you discard those clothes at?
I didn't discard any clothes.
What do you...
At this point, Danny realizes the detectives know his darkest secrets, escalating his struggles even further.
If you didn't have anything to hide, you wouldn't discarded your clothes in Reynoldsburg.
I didn't. Okay, I'm lying. Please, let's not get...
Why
I'm
would you
lying
lie?
about that because I'm scared to death.
Why would you lie
I've
to me
been
about
beat
something
up
like that?
Because, well, I don't know. I don't see the relevancy in it specifically. Like, I
You're
thought...
walking around in bloody clothes.
No, I didn't walk around bloody clothes. I
You
left...
told me you were covered in blood.
Okay,
You said I'm covered in my girlfriend's blood.
No, I did not say that at all. I was never... Well, I had some of it on there, yeah, because I'm cradling her. I'm holding her. And that was this morning, the freaking...
Okay, where are the clothes with the cradled blood?
They are at the freaking campsite. They gotta be. I went down, got them to call the freaking ambulance. And I panicked. Right when they go to call the freaking ambulance, I tell them to call the ambulance. I look, dude, I got a parole warrant. I can't stay here and freaking make a report. Tell them this guy. Tell them that guy.
Where'd you change at?
In the neighbor's tent,
Which neighbor?
the Ashley people's tent.
The one where your girlfriend was laying?
Are you serious? Are you really sitting here telling me that she's deceased?
Yeah.
What is wrong with her?
She's beat to death.
What? I told you. I knew what I knew.
They're saying you did.
I didn't do nothing. I
So
swear
if you
to God.
and blacked out and had a bad day, you better get in front of it. Because
That's the facts. You have my word.
you changed your clothes, you fled the scene,
I
you
only-
went to Reynoldsburg. Does that make you look innocent?
No, it doesn't.
What's it make you look?
Makes me look ridiculous.
No, that's not ridiculous. What does it make you look? Guilty.
But I'm not. I didn't do anything to nobody.
You felt the
Dre
need to
was
change your
fighting.
clothes.
I had my blood and stuff on me, man.
Where's your blood coming from? This
Scratches?
This little
No.
scratch?
Trust me, it's
Holy
gashed. It's gashed. It's gashed bad.
Did you get a good look at your girlfriend this morning before you fled the police?
No, not really.
She's beaten to death.
Not really.
Her jaw's broken, her skull's fractured. How long did it take you to commit those injuries to your girlfriend?
I did not.
Do you remember doing it?
I don't, because I didn't.
Is it
Me and
possible
Dre
that you
was
blacked
fighting.
out and did this?
I can't see that, because I love her.
But
Me
it's
and Dre-
possible.
Me and Dre
You
were
hit her
fighting.
before.
No, I've
Oh,
never
people
hit her.
saw you hit her before. The people at 61 East Mountain know you used to beat her.
That's not true.
That is true. I talked to them this morning. Do you think they're lying on you too? You got to get in front of this, Dan.
I did do it.
Dan.
I did not do
Well,
anything. Effect.
What did you do?
Dude punched
When's the
her.
last time you hit her?
I've never hit her. That's what I
Oh,
keep. I'm never on her now. My past relationships, sure, I've been.
Oh, so this one's different? You used to beat women before, but you don't beat
I
women
never
anymore?
beat her. I swear to God, I never beat
What
her.
women do you beat?
I
Which
don't
women did
beat
you
women. I get into a fight with a dude periodically, time to time. I might
So you
get in a
never,
scuffle.
there's not a domestic violence report? with
Yes,
your name
there
on
is a
it?
domestic
Okay.
violence,
So
but
you
that was
do
a
hit
verbal
women.
domestic. I've been into it with a female once upon a time.
Who's that?
Nikki. She smacked me with a head with an ashtray, but that was.
And
It wasn't
so
like I beat
you
her.
were the victim that
was
time, too?
We were both fighting. We were both.
You fight girls. Were you both?
No, I didn't fight her. She jumped on me at that stage. That was years ago.
This is what you're going to do for your girlfriend that you love?
I
This is
do
how you're
love
gonna
her.
go?
How am I going? What are you talking? What am I supposed to do? You're sitting here trying to tell me she's deceased, and you're saying that I did it.
No wonder Danny has accumulated a string of felonies. His impulsive behavior speaks volumes, a lack of control that's landed him in trouble from the start. He believes he's outsmarting the detectives, especially after dodging their traps. But provoking them only worsens his situation, increasing his chances of getting another charge.
You went to his tent and said, hey,
Maybe.
listen. And you said, I think my girlfriend's dead.
No, I did not say
Yes, you
anything
did.
like that.
Yeah, you did.
Why are they making this up? They don't know anything about it. They've been asleep.
I thought she was freaking. I thought her and I were just beat up from the scuffle from the evening before with old boy, man.
She was beat up from the scuffle with you. You just
I never got into a fight with her for any reason.
You don't know that. You don't even remember.
No,
You don't remember.
I really don't remember
So
her
it's
and I
possible
getting
something
into
you
it.
did while you were blacked out.
I
Blacked
can't
out
see
drunk.
that.
Look at your hands.
I remember that. That's from the dog. That's from the puppy. I remember that. That's from the pup.
The puppy.
Oh, the dog nailed me there. That's scratch. That's
you
been
got
there
out of the
for, that's
bloody
been there for
clothes,
2 days.
and you fled out to your parents in Reynoldsburg.
I took them
You
off
said-
because it's pretty
you knew
evident that I
enough-
can't stay away. I can't stand around and wait for the ambulance to show up. And
You knew
freaking-
enough to change your appearance and flee the scene.
I just changed. Look, I didn't.
You know who else was standing there?
Look, I just grabbed this off of the freaking ground type.
Edgar was still there. Cowboy was still there.
Well, they don't have no worries. Like,
Yeah.
they don't have no
The only
worries.
person that left is the person that had worries.
I have a parole warrant. Look it up. I
You
have
go
a parole.
wake him up and say, I think
I never
Kit
said
Kat, I think Kit Kat's dead.
No,
That's
I never.
exact.
That's what he told you?
Yeah, and his girlfriend too.
He said you and Cowboy were arguing. And
Okay.
that's when the incident happened with Dre.
Then why did Dre come down there and f me and sock her, dude? Well, she jumped on his back and he threw her off, but we're all drunk. Now, I can see where that shouldn't have manifested any more than that.
Danny remains oblivious to the true gravity of his crime. His smirks and manipulative tactics run in parallel, revealing a disturbing lack of remorse. As the interrogation continues, his lack of self-control and increasingly gangster-like demeanor begin to shine through. Watch as the detectives make another attempt to crack him.
No.
Then why didn't you tell Ed that?
I didn't talk to Ed this morning. I talked to the young boy that was down there by Ed. But that's who I talked
The
to.
young 18-year-old kid?
Yeah, I talked to him and his girl. That's who I asked to call the police. Or maybe, okay, well, you said 18. Wait a minute, maybe I got these two couples f***ed up.
We know who Edgar is.
Because you walked down with Edgar down to the railroad tracks. He's the one who called the police.
I called I walked down
We
with
got
him
his
and had
phone
him.
number.
I had him call down. Well, then maybe it was freaking him and Jen and not freaking.
So you don't even remember. You don't.
I don't know their names. I can't. The younger couple, I presumed, is who I freaking went.
You
and
do
talked
too
to.
much presuming.
That's what I thought, man.
You don't remember. You were blacked out drunk and you beat your girlfriend to death.
No, I didn't.
You got minor injuries.
I got in a fight with dude. I never got into it with her for any
You don't look
reason.
like you've been in a fight at all. Certainly not with an adult male.
Knots on my head and a split lip. Dude tried to poke me, dude.
Poke you.
Well, he had a little penknife. That's where the initial argument started.
So he's angry
before
with
we.
you. And so you got these minor scratches and a penknife wound and a knot on your head, and your girlfriend is beat to death. Does that make sense? And you change clothes and you go to Reynoldsburg.
I did that to go see my dad.
Here's the thing. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this longer than you've been homeless. Okay.
I know what happened. I didn't hurt my girlfriend.
Okay. Let me tell you something. There's two kinds of people I talk to in this room: cold-blooded killers that don't give a or people that got a problem. Maybe yours is alcohol, and you blacked out, and got out of hand because you got slapped around a little bit by Dre, and you go home and you take it out on the old lady.
But that's not true.
Well, you beat her to death. Nobody else had any reason to. You've been beating her the whole time you've been up there. That's what they told me.
Well, they're full of crap.
Every one of them's lying on Danny. Is that what it is?
They all got
And
something.
Danny's the only one who changed clothes, hopped a bus to Reynoldsburg to go home to his mommy and daddy, leaving her
That's not
to
the
lay
case.
there and die.
No, it's
Leaving
not.
her to lay there
I
and
went
die.
down and I had to.
You went down there and you told Ed, I think she's
I
dead.
never said that to nobody.
Why would he make that up?
I don't know.
Why would he make all this up on Danny?
What did he make up besides the freaking fact that
You saying he made up everything.
You're telling me he said I walked down there, he walked down there. I didn't do any of that crap. So he is freaking bullshitting.
Since Danny keeps repeating the same rehearsed lines, a parrot-like speech he'd carefully constructed before stepping into the interrogation room, the detectives have grown frustrated with his false story. It doesn't take long for the detective to realize that a calm rapport will not be effective, so an aggressive shift is about to take place.
And I went down to the bottom of the hill, waited for a few, let the freaking ambulance come, make sure that they freaking seen which way to go up. That's when freaking I saw Ed from a distance. He's the
You
long-haired
went to
guy.
Ed's tent.
Maybe it was like he them fucking 2 minutes.
You took him over and showed him the body. You led him back to the tent, showed him the body. Why is he making that up?
Dude, I did not take nobody nowhere to tell nothing. I went down there and told them they need to call the ambulance. No, they need to
How
call
were
the
they
ambulance.
supposed to find her with all those tents? Who was going to lead them back to where she was?
They know where her and I are at.
You're not in that tent. That's not your tent. That's Ashley's tent.
I told them that she's down there in the tent. That's what I said.
Them.
The young couple. And then they probably went
Ed is
over
the
and talked
one
to
you woke up and
They
then
probably went and talked to Ed because they're all four of them are good friends. The Ed and them have other tent right there. Those I told the other couple.
No.
I think the young couple went down there and freaking told Ed.
So we just picked you out of the blue to sit in here and...
No, you didn't, because that's my freaking fiance. Of course I'm going to be questioned, talked to, and put in through the ringer. But I told you I have a parole warrant, so I couldn't wait for the freaking law dog, let alone freaking ambulance.
The law dog. Is that what that is?
Well, when you have a parole warrant, yes, because I should.
What were you on parole for?
Assault a police officer, because disorderly conduct gone wrong, I guess you could say, or resisting arrest is what it was. I mean, think about it. They gave me 8 felonies for it and gave me 17 months. If I was really that freaking guilty of the situation, they would have got me, for real got me. But Dre and I got into a fight. I maybe said a few heated things to Cowboy, but I don't recall. Now, Dre and I got into a fight.
You seem to only recall when it points to Dre. That's the only things you
Because that's what I remember. I remember Dre kicking my ass, and then she jumped on his back to get him off, and he threw her.
Then you'd pass a polygraph to all this.
Yeah, sure. If that's what you'd like.
No, that's not what I'd like. What I'd like you to do is tell the truth.
I'm telling you,
All
dude.
right? Because why aren't you the one beat to death then? Because if I wanted to
No, but not that bad.
no, if I'd have knocked you out and I hadn't been on hurting somebody, why was he bent on hurting Kitty Cat? Huh? Why was he bent on hurting her? If I got you knocked out, I'm gonna stomp your pinhead. That's what I'm gonna do.
She get kicked in my head a couple times, but not.
Look at you. You're sitting here talking. She's got a broken jaw, skull fractures, laying dead, choked to death in her own blood there. Where you threw her in that tent.
I ain't throw nobody in no tent. She crawled up in there, man.
You remember that? A minute ago you didn't remember.
No, I know.
What time did she crawl up in there?
I don't know what time
Were
it
you
was.
in there already?
I had to be. Oh no, I crawled up in beside her. No, she already went into the tent.
Why would she go in that tent and not your tent?
Our tent was freaking collapsed.
Well, you just told me that wasn't the case.
It had to be. Because she wouldn't have
You
went
told
in
me
there
that
if she
wasn't the
didn't.
case. How did your tent get collapsed?
Maybe I didn't even go back into my tent.
How did your tent get collapsed?
It shouldn't have been collapsed. That's where I thought I was in my freaking tent. I thought I was in my freaking tent. But it turns out it must have been freaking Ashley and them's tent. It had to be if that's what you're freaking telling me.
You were the one that was there. You're the one that led Edgar to her
I
body.
didn't go lead there nowhere. I went and told them young couple called the ambulance, and then I left. And then from there, maybe those couple went down and got freaking Ed and had him as a system in the process. But I ain't go see him.
You walked down there to the railroad tracks with Ed,
I didn't.
and then you went.
I left already.
Then you went
well
south.
before.
Then you went south. And who cares if you got a parole warrant? Your girlfriend or fiance's laying there.
Beat up, yeah. She needs to get see the ambulance.
Okay.
They got her an ambulance.
She needed to see the ambulance about 5-6 hours.
There's nothing I can
Before
do
that.
about that. If she's freaking needs emergency help.
You can jump on a bus to Reynoldsburg and change your bloody clothes.
I did that before. I took my shirt off before I freaking left. I had freaking blood on me. And dirt.
Call at least out to the scene for that, if we can still collect that.
Danny must truly believe his story. He never seems to get tired of repeating the same timeline. But amid the noise, one question looms large. What was Danny doing at Ashley's tent? Does it hint at an affair? We may never know. What we do know is that Danny won't be able to hold on to his story for much longer.
How did you check her today?
I just woke up and looked at her. I didn't check her at all. I looked at her and I saw that her face was freaking bruised. So I went down and had him call the ambulance.
You didn't check her pulse. You didn't see if she needed any mouth to mouth. You didn't. Any...
I went immediately to have someone call the ambulance. There's
Why?
nothing I can do. Because she needs to go to a hospital. You can see that her face is swollen from freaking an injury. She needs to go to the hospital.
Was she breathing?
She was breathing, from what I gathered anyway, but I didn't really check that. I don't know. I'm presuming.
This is somebody who you love.
I do.
This is your fiance. This is somebody who you care about. This is your life. And you didn't check to see if she was
I
fine?
looked down. I checked her. And
Like, oh, her face is bruised. I'm leaving.
No, I left and went down there and had him call the ambulance. And then I know that I have a warrant for my arrest. So the moment the ambulance and the law enforcement shows up, they go through the process. Okay, what happened? I tell them about the fight between Dre, and if I tell them all that, boom, they're going to run my name. She's going to the hospital. I'm going to jail. Regardless.
Well, now, she's not going to the hospital.
She is. She's fine. She'll be all right. She'll be just
Could have
fine.
been fine if you'd have checked her, make sure she wasn't dead.
I didn't know.
No, you didn't do anything.
I don't. What the am I to do?
You know
What
why?
can I
You
do?
know
I haven't
why?
called the ambulance.
No, you know why? Because you knew she was already dead.
No.
Yes, you did.
Oh hell no.
Yes, you did.
I went down and had him call the ambulance
Because
she was
Ed
hurt.
came back with you and agreed with you that she's dead.
No. I never talked. I know. No, because I didn't talk to.
Here we go. Everybody's lying again. Everybody's lying except for him.
No, that's what you just told me is that I freaking talked to Ed. I
You got
tell y'all I
about
didn't talk to fucking Ed.
90% chance more of being harmed by somebody that you know than a stranger. And
Because
who knows her better than you? And you never put your hands on her.
I don't hurt her.
There's no bite marks on her body.
it might be, yeah. Her and I
Tell
get
us
kinky
about-
from time to
Tell
time.
about that. So any bite marks on her body would be from being kinky?
Gotta be.
Where would they be?
There may be one on her neck, her rib cage. She's had her rib cage right here broken several times due to whatever the case was, she had 97 different broken bones, and right here is a sensitivity by her rib cage, so I freaking nibble on that, and I nibble around in the general area. Sometimes we're drunk as and I might get a little aggressive.
Is that what happened last night?
It's not what happened. I got in a fight with another dude.
But you don't look, I mean, we both saw her out there.
Dude
There's only
fucking
one
beat her
person.
up.
There's only,
He had to, because I once he hit me, I watched him fling her off and go over and kick her, dude. After that, I got popped, and then I don't really remember too much after that. I woke up this morning in Ashley's tent. Well, no, I woke up earlier on the concrete, and then she was already laying in the tent, and then I crawled up in there because I see my collapsed. So I
so you remember it being collapsed now, and earlier when I was talking to you, it couldn't be collapsed.
It had to be, because that's what I recall.
Well, you don't like Cowboy.
Well, I don't know.
Mainly because you were in jail at one point. Did he hook up with Kit Kat?
I don't think so. And I was only gone for a couple of months, and her and
You don't know
never.
that? You don't know that?
From what she tells me and what I trust and believe in her, yeah, I don't think that they had anything going at all. I really don't believe that. No, I don't believe that at all.
Finally, the detectives have pulled the final string, the mention of Kathleen's affair, the most probable reason that will unravel his complicated web of lies. Danny claims that he trusted her and denies the affair, but it's just another blatant lie. Deep down, he knew there was a man she used to see in his absence. Rumors in the homeless camp suggested that Kathleen had been involved with a man named Cowboy while Danny was in prison, a claim that would soon emerge as the key motive behind her brutal murder.
I've never put my...
You're the only one telling the truth, is that right? Is that where we're at here?
I may not
And
have
you're
all
the
the
only
facts.
one that has got something to lose here. And yet, you're the only one who jumped on a coda this morning to unask the area.
No, I went to go see my dad, that's all.
What, out of the blue?
No, because the freaking kitty cat was hurt. I'm hurt.
Was your dad a doctor?
No.
Your dad some kind of surgeon?
No, just one-
What the hell's your dad going to do?
Just wanted to go see him and have some support with the situation, because I can't...
How'd that work out?
I can't go to the cops.
What did they
I can't-
What did they do when they saw you show up? What happened?
They called the police.
What did they
because
tell the police?
I don't know. I wasn't there 2 minutes when law enforcement showed up.
Who else had you talked to prior to?
I just texted my dad a couple different times, and I
What did
said,
you text him?
I texted him and said something about how I think Kitty's hurt. She's going to the ambulance to go to the ER. And I went to the ER. I went
Where's
to
your phone?
It's our phone. It's in my property somewhere, probably. It's dead. It's been dead since this morning, but I had enough juice to send a
Our
couple.
phone.
Well, yeah, it's our phone.
Who's ours?
Oh, Kathleen and I.
Okay.
I'd say Kitty's hurt, I think. I got the ambulance is going to take her to the hospital.
That's bullshit.
Something to that effect. That's what I was...
Well,
You can always look at the
Ed
phone.
already gone back and confirmed she was cold to the touch. You don't remember that, but Ed's going to testify to it. You need to get your in front of this, Dan.
I didn't do what you're saying I did. I got into a fight with Dre.
What am I
You're
saying?
saying that I beat my girlfriend to death is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Okay.
I didn't. I got into a fight with another dude.
Somebody did.
I got into a fight with another dude, and then she jumped on his back, he flung her off, then he popped me, and I went out, man.
Well, no, a minute ago you saw stuff happening. Now you're out again.
No, I caught it, but I went out.
You don't look like a guy that's been knocked out. You don't look like you look a lot better than Kitty. I got to be honest. She got a broken jaw.
What follows next is a series of denials. The detective makes yet another unsuccessful attempt at confrontation based on the witness statements recorded during the investigation.
What did they tell him?
I don't know. I wasn't on that end of the conversation.
Will you be surprised to know they told him that they called us, wondering if we were looking for somebody that murdered somebody in a homeless camp?
Oh, wow.
When none of that information was out there? You sure you don't remember what you texted your father?
Yeah, I do vaguely. He was saying
Vaguely.
something along the lines of, Kitty's hurt, she's in the
That
ambulance
you
going
heard
to
her?
the ER.
That you heard her?
No, because I didn't hurt her, and I didn't say nothing like that. I told him that she was hurt,
You don't
and that
remember
the
what
ambulance
you
is
said.
taking her.
Did you talk to him on the phone or did you just text?
Just texted.
Yeah.
It was a vague statement, something along the lines.
I understand if you're blackout drunk and you don't have recollection, but don't be using your absence of recollection to frame an innocent person.
Okay, I'm not framing anybody. I'm not saying
Somebody
that
got
freaking
an
Dre or
answer.
freaking anyone else
She
freaking
had some photos.
killed the woman. I'm saying that that was the last altercation that we had, and then I was done. And then at some point I woke up on that concrete and she's over in there laying in the tent. So I make my way in there and I lay beside her. And then this morning I get up, I freak the out when I see that she's beat up, and I run down to the
Dead. When you woke up, she's dead.
She didn't look dead. She just looked hurt.
You woke up beside a dead person in the same tent. Who the fuck are we supposed to think did this?
Fair enough. No,
Does
really.
it take a rocket scientist to figure out what's going on here?
I'm telling you what took place, though. I got to fight with another dude, man, and then freaking...
Then you got mad because you got slapped around a little bit and you took it out on your girlfriend, like you normally do up there.
Don't.
According to everybody in the camp, except you.
Well, they're all freaking correlating their stories then or something.
Is that what they did?
I don't know. I
No,
don't.
you don't.
He believes he can convince the detective even when all odds are against him, but the seasoned detective wasn't about to leave any stone unturned.
Dan, you can do one thing for her now. You can do one thing for her. If you ever loved her, it's just be straight.
I'm telling you.
No. I'm not listening to any more lies. If you want to lie, you can go lie to your cellmate. We'll stick you in on this probation. We'll come down, we'll drop the murder warrant on you, and then we'll just let it fly.
If that's
You know
what...
what?
I didn't kill him.
She's dead.
I didn't do it.
Who did it?
It had to be Oh, boy. Bad.
Oh, boy.
I want to say his name, but you keep on telling me not to set an innocent man up. Now I'm getting to thinking that I don't want nobody to get in trouble.
You didn't see who did this because you passed out. Yeah, you threw Dre's name out there.
That's who I got into the last fight with, and I watched.
That's you getting in a fight. Who did she? She didn't get in a fight with him.
on his back.
So your ass slaps her around on the regular? Bull.
I don't slap her around.
What is she? She 5'3", 105 pounds? What's this Dre? What's this Dre? 6'3", 220?
No,
How big is he?
I don't know.
How big is he?
About 6 foot, 200.
Your size?
A little bigger,
A little bigger than you?
taller,
And
heavier.
this is all the damage she was able to do to you after you were knocked unconscious. He was mad at you,
booted
right?
me a couple times.
She didn't look recognizable as a person. Did you take a good look at your dead girlfriend this morning before you ran to your dad's?
I did. I seen that she was hurt.
You knew she was dead because Ed told you she was dead.
Oh, I didn't talk to Ed. I didn't know she was freaking dead. I told you I went down and
You
told
know
the young
what?
couple, and they might have went down and got Ed.
That's fine. You go with this.
I don't.
We're going to dress you
remember.
out. Now here's
That's
what.
fine.
We'll slate you on your probation violations. We'll let your probation officer know we're getting ready to file a murder warrant on you.
I didn't kill nobody, man.
Just,
I didn't kill nobody.
We don't think you did it on purpose, dude.
I didn't kill nobody.
Listen.
What's the relevancy of purpose or on purpose or
because
otherwise? If you're charging me with murder,
it
then
makes you an animal if you did it on purpose.
But he didn't do nothing to her, man.
You beat her again, and this time she died. And he didn't mean for her to die. I want to believe that, but the more you keep throwing Dre under the bus, and then you're having these flashes of memory, then I'm thinking, no, maybe he really is as evil as... I don't want to believe that. What I want to believe is, you got pissed off. You're pissed off at Cowboy. You're pissed off at the people in the camp that are ganging on you. You go back, and you're in your tent, and I don't know what happens, or what sets it off for Kitty Cat. But she starts to take it. Maybe it starts out as some of this rough love that they also tell us you have with her. Because they listen to it. But they hear you beating her in the tent.
I didn't beat her, man. I really didn't.
Why are these people making this stuff up? If you're so drunk you don't remember, how is it not possibly true? You don't remember.
That leaves a doubt, I suppose. But I know I didn't get in. I do recall not getting into any kind of altercation with her.
See,
I remember Black passing out after he blasted me.
You recall what didn't happen, but you can't recall what did happen.
I'm telling you what happened. I got into a fight with the dude. He came down, popped me, then he jumped on his back. He flung her. He reached down, popped me again, and then
At what point did
it pretty
your tent,
much
you
went.
don't remember when your tent collapsed?
I think when he popped me, well, when he hit me in the ear initially behind my head, I went into the tent. I went on it, and I do recall that. But I
How
didn't
did
think.
blood all get inside the tent? Because then nobody would have been bleeding at that point.
That's where she was.
Because that's the
initially.
first.
This
You're
tent
saying
wasn't
that's the
collapsed.
first punch.
But the tent wasn't freaking collapsed until freaking later on.
When was the tent
I
collapsed?
fell into it, but it wasn't collapsed.
When she was beaten inside the tent.
No, she may have been bleeding in the tent because of the freaking injuries that she sustained for.
But the tent went down before she received her injuries.
No, it didn't. It got bumped into. Maybe set
When
it
did
off.
go
Maybe
down?
set the
When did it go
ball
down?
off.
When did it go
I
down?
don't know.
You don't know. You see, you don't know.
I don't. I have an idea about how it went down, but it.
You got an idea about how to try and save Dan's ass.
What do you mean save my ass? How am I going to save my ass? The woman that I'm engaged to is dead right now. I can't.
And you're feeling sorry for only yourself.
I'm not feeling sorry for anything. I'm confused, and I didn't do what you're accusing me of. I didn't do it.
Everybody else out there. Everybody out there.
Well, then you know what? Then I'll see him on the stand.
Okay, that's fine.
Because
This is what you do.
unless you
And this
actually
is
go
what you
find
do
the
for
person,
that-
find him.
You and OJ. We'll go out there and find the person responsible for it.
Danny, frustrated with the investigation, is rarely making an effort to provide justice for Kathleen, instead forging a series of stories in his defense, like the new character, Old Man, he just introduced. Every time Danny tells the story, he adds a new detail, always insisting that he blacked out after the first punch. It's as if he has powers beyond human capabilities, remembering everything while supposedly unconscious.
When you left your girlfriend dead in Ashley's tent, was your tent still standing? And if so, why was she in Ashley's tent and not yours?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's very
don't.
convenient.
But this, well, you
You
won't.
remember what you don't remember. Yeah. You remember what didn't happen.
I didn't kill her. I didn't hurt her. I didn't do nothing to her. I love her. This is
Down into the road.
this. The reality of it is
You
not.
didn't mean to, man. That's what it comes down to.
And that I can accept.
So how does that even work? What do you mean I didn't mean to?
Because you're blackout drunk.
So what?
You're
I never
pissed
mean to
off.
hurt her. I never did.
You didn't mean to hurt her, but you
never
did.
mean to hurt her
But
ever.
you did.
I did
And
not.
you have.
No, we've had our freaking quarrels, but I've never hurt her.
Yes, you have. People have seen you.
I don't see how, because I don't. I don't see how. I mean, I'm telling you, the dude and I got into a
It ain't
fight.
gonna go away, Dan.
That's obvious, but I didn't do it.
Did you get a chance to talk to your father this morning? Was the question.
No, the only thing he said to me was, when I had a pistol in my face with a boot in my chest, was don't resist.
Your father said that to you?
Yeah, that's the only thing he said today. When I was up in front of the house. I guess they called PD.
Is there a reason they didn't let you in, Dan?
I take it. I wasn't there long enough to wait it out. I said, okay, well, if that's the case, fine, guys. And reality set in at that stage when frickin' they did call the cops that obviously I'm in trouble because Kitty's hurt. That much I gathered.
Why would you think you'd be in trouble because Kitty was hurt if you didn't have anything to do with it?
Because I fled the scene. Because I left.
Did you think that makes you look a little guilty?
Of course it does.
Okay.
But I had a parole warrant, so I couldn't stand around and wait for the ambulance. I wanted the ambulance
So
to
you were
come.
worried more about some misdemeanor parole warrant than you are some
What do you mean?
life-threatening injuries to the love of your
Okay,
life.
I got her the help I could by having someone call the ambulance, and then the ambulance
Time
came
to
and they
change
got
your
her.
clothes and catch a bus.
No, I took and was walking and taking my shirt off as that happened.
Wait, you told me you changed clothes in the tent. Where did you change clothes?
No, I didn't.
Where did you
change
throw
my-
the bloody clothes?
No, I
Every
during the-
time you change
during
your
the tent.
story. Why do you change your story so much?
I'm
You know,
not
it's so
trying
much
to. I'm trying to
easier-
recall.
It's so much easier if you just tell the truth. You don't have to make it up as you go along like you're doing, Dan. Look, we talked about this. We've been doing this a long time.
I didn't have to talk to you guys. I understand my rights, among other things. I didn't have to talk to y'all. I didn't have to talk to you at all, but I want to get to the bottom of this as well. I don't want anybody to...
stepping up for kid. It's the last thing you can do for her.
But
you just had a bad
What do you want
night.
me to say? I didn't
want you
hurt
to
her.
tell me the truth.
I'm telling you, I got into a fight with old boy, and she hopped on him, he thrown her, and then that's about that's all I really remember, man.
And you're the only one up there. You're the only one in that whole camp that has that version of last night.
I wouldn't see why. Why not? Why?
Well, I'm telling you it is. It's not my job to see why. I'm trying to tell you, that's how stupid that sounds, because we talked to everybody up there, and you're the only one that's told us that. And shockingly, that's the story that has somebody else responsible for her injuries. Yet you're the only ones come up with that, and we talked to everybody. And they didn't have time to get their story straight. You know why? We woke some of them up. They were asleep in their tents when we got there.
So what could they
So they
possibly know? That's my
They
thing.
know what happened last night before they went to sleep. When you and Cowboy were tussling, and Dre broke it up, and then you and Dre had words.
Me and Cowboy weren't fucking. We
So
argued a
Cowboy's
little
lying
bit.
too.
So, well, if he said that, well, I don't call getting into it with Cowboy friend.
Dude, they don't like you up there.
I guess.
It sounds like it.
No, sounds like to me.
And then I talked to the people over at 61 East Mound. And they talked to Kid repeatedly about trying to get away from you when she shows up over there.
I don't see that.
Well, once again, why would I make that up on you? I never met you before today. Because if she comes in there with her eyes swollen shut, she comes in there with all kinds of injuries. And they're concerned about her safety. And now she's dead, beaten to death.
He had changed his clothes in the camp. Danny's DNA was found on Kathleen's t-shirt, and her blood was discovered on Danny's clothes and shoes. These details make this case clearer than ever, but what the detectives would witness next is just another example of Danny's lack of self-control.
I'm asking you, is it possible you beat your girlfriend to death and just don't remember it? I'm not asking you if anything's
That's not possible.
I'll ask somebody else if I want to know that.
That's not possible.
Okay, there you go.
That's not possible.
So what you are is, so this didn't happen in some kind of fit. This is, you've planned it, you execute it, and now you're covering it up.
Bullshit.
Taking off your clothes, lying about where you discarded
The
them.
clothes are. They're in the tent.
Tell me about this.
They're in the tent.
Tell me about this drop box in Reynoldsburg again that you brought up.
I told you I lied about that.
Why would you
And
lie about it?
I told you I
Can
lied.
I ask you, why would you lie about that?
I don't know.
Why would you come up with that lie?
I don't.
About the little things, you're clearly going to lie to me about the big things. Lie to me about things you don't even have to lie to me about. Why would I believe you when you're telling me some of the big things?
But I corrected myself and told you that that
Why
wasn't
did you
the truth.
just explain to me why you came up with that lie?
I don't know. Just seemed freaking.
Seemed what?
I don't know.
Seemed what? What did it
seemed
seem like to Danny?
I don't know. Seemed like the right thing to say, but it's not the case. I did change. I took my shirt off in the tent and my pants, put on this blue outfit, and went down and got the couple of eight and to call the
That's not who
ambulance.
you got. That's not who you walked back up to Ashley's tent. You walked back up there
I
with
never
Edgar.
walked back up anywhere.
Edgar,
I told him call
Edgar
the
checked on her.
ambulance.
Well, did Ed go by himself and go check on her while you waited? Is that possible? I'm just asking.
I don't think so. No.
You're awake and alert at this point.
I went down.
Obviously, because you saw her and you went.
I saw her. I freaked out. I went down at the couples. They called.
Touch her?
Of course, I touched her.
Was she?
She seemed like she was hurt bad. She didn't seem dead. She looked freaking really hurt bad. Granted, so
Where did
I'm
you
not
touch her?
sticking around. I didn't really touch her. I kind of just shook her a little bit, and she's not coming to. I could see her freaking injuries are fucked up. So I went to go get the ambulance. There's nothing I can do to stay there and help. There's nothing I can do
You
whatsoever.
could stay there and tell a story about who killed her to the police.
I didn't know she was dead.
Or you could have stayed and told your story to the police about who had caused these catastrophic injuries to her. Because at a glance, you can tell these injuries are catastrophic.
Right. She looked
not-
bad.
Worse than bad, okay? I've seen a lot of people in this condition over the years I've been doing this, and she's on this end of the scale. It wasn't just bad, it was catastrophic. I don't know what kind of violence and gore you're used to seeing. I'm used to seeing a good bit of it, and this would rank over here.
I didn't beat her up, guys. I really didn't. I got into a fight with old Boyd. He flung her, and then from there, man,
Dre's a black guy?
yeah.
I told Ed it was a big white guy.
I didn't tell Ed anything.
That's what he told me.
That's what he told? Well, then that don't even make sense, because I ain't say nothing like that to nobody for any reason.
Well, did you tell Ed that Dre did this?
No, I didn't tell
No, you
him
didn't.
nothing.
You didn't tell him. You know why?
I didn't tell him
You know
nothing.
why you didn't? Because he didn't do it.
I didn't talk to Ed this morning. I didn't tell him shit. I went down and got that couple and got the hell out of there.
It was just another of the many failed attempts to get his confession. But there were more denials of the crime that the detectives would still have to face.
Okay? Eddie, I need you. I think Kit Kat's dead. I put her in Mark's tent. I
didn't say that to him, though. That's what. I didn't say that to him. He was full of it. I didn't even talk to him this morning. I went down and told they were out and about. I saw all them guys sitting out there. I said, hey, you need to call the frickin' ambulance. Kitty's hurt.
Do you know why you haven't talked to? See, because of this stuff. Look at the stuff he's told us. That's why you can't remember it.
Danny
That's why you don't want to. Go ahead.
Danny came to me. He said, Eddie, I need you. I think Kit Kat's dead. I put her in Mark's tent. The tent belonging to Mark and Ashley. He walks over. He looks at her, touches her. She's cold to the touch.
Okay, this is what he told you. And it was okay?
You put her in the tent.
No, I didn't. She crawled in there last night before I...
You know what the coroner's going to say? She didn't
Whatever. Well, what's he going to say?
She didn't crawl anywhere after she received these injuries because she was unconscious. Wherever she received those injuries, she would have stayed unless somebody moved her.
That's not the case. I didn't move her.
Somebody moved her.
Okay, you're right. Apparently, if that's what you're saying...
I'm guaranteeing you, she's knocked unconscious. She's got a broken jaw. She's got a fractured skull. She's got subdural hematomas. She's beat to death. Wherever she received that beating, which all the blood is inside the red tent that Ed helped you put up the day before. That's where she received the beating. You told Ed you carried her and put her in Mark and Ashley's tent.
I didn't tell him that, because I didn't do that. Charge me. You're going to get the wrong guy.
No, we're not. No, you know what?
I didn't do it.
Yeah,
I really did.
You keep telling yourself that.
I don't have
Guess
to tell
what?
myself
No
that.
more malt liquor in the town. No more malt liquor in state penitentiary. You're going to get a chance to dry out. Here's the good news. I will make sure they build a new jail on top of you. Because here's the difference between somebody that makes a mistake and owns up to it and somebody that covers it up, hops a bus to get the fuck out of Dodge to ride to Reynoldsburg while the love of his life. Yeah, one more time, right? Before this thing caught up with you. If you had a bad night, that's all you need to say.
I don't recall doing anything to her, dude. I know I didn't do nothing to her.
You don't recall
I
doing
got in a
anything to
fight
her?
with
I know.
Boyd.
Yeah, you don't recall. Look,
I know.
They recall, but what you told them. They recall seeing you had beat this girl. They recall hearing the beating.
Well, then
we recovered all the blood from inside the tent that collapsed.
Okay, she was bleeding. Dude popped her in the mouth.
This isn't a case of somebody popping her in the mouth.
That's what took place at the time. Now, I don't know how severe it was.
About a half gallon of blood in this tent. That's where she received the beating. Inside your tent. Did this guy come inside the tent and beat her?
We got into it out front.
So how does she bleed out inside your tent?
Crawled up in there and laid down.
She didn't crawl anywhere after she received these head injuries. She was not mobile. The only way she could have moved anywhere is if somebody moved her.
I ain't over. Why would I do that?
Huh? Because you didn't think she was dead and you were trying to take care of her after you gave her this beating.
I didn't beat her, man.
And your tent was knocked down from it.
I didn't.
Your tent was knocked down from it. So you had to get her inside somewhere. So you put her in market actually, just like you told Edgar.
But that's not the case, man.
Why did you tell him that then?
I didn't tell him. I told the other couple that were out there to go call the ambulance. Now they may have went down and got Ed. I'll see him in court.
You what?
I said I'll have to.
What'd you say to me?
I said I'll have to see him in court.
In about 18 months, that's exactly what'll happen.
I didn't do what you're accusing me of doing. I didn't do it, dude. I really didn't. That's the thing. I really didn't.
No confession was extracted from Danny. As the detective stepped out of the interrogation room, Danny suddenly recalled his dead girlfriend and put on a show of sympathy, hoping it would reduce his jail time.
Please don't be dead, baby.
They took his photographs, and a strong case was soon to be built that would imprison him for years to come.
I don't want to be threatened, please. I'm sorry. My wife ceased.
Yeah, I understand that. I spent more time with her this morning than you did. I didn't hop on a bus to Reynolds.
I went to go
Stand
see
up.
my dad. I knew the ambulance was coming. I had warrants. There's no sense. There's nothing I can do.
All these detectives are going to do is take some pictures. And I am first in line. This thing goes.
All right, I'm gonna take your face ID. I guess I can't be a to the guy who's doing the job. Dude, I'm freaking the out.
Just hold still for me.
All
Alright, do what? Face that way?
You should go find
Face the wall.
Kitty, man.
Alright. Face the wall behind you.
I'm never gonna get this my baby again. I'm never gonna get to see my baby. You really believe I hurt my baby?
Hey, you're going to go downstairs. They're going to take some photographs of you and fingerprints. So we call our identification section to get an ID number. You're going to be slated to county jail on your probation violation and an account of murder. That's what's going on today. And like you said, you were very defiant about it. Well, you just had to bring those witnesses into court, and that's exactly what we will do, along with all her injuries and all the inconsistencies in your story and all that. And what we are arresting you on right now is called probable cause. We have probable cause to believe this. You fled the area. Your story is inconsistent with everyone else. We have found a report out in Reynoldsburg where you beat the shit out of her before.
That's not possible. It's not possible.
They're getting it right now.
Go ahead.
You
didn't find that because that didn't happen.
Okay, well,
My dad told you that,
and
but that's not the truth.
Well, she's not beat the shit to death either, right? That didn't happen either.
It didn't.
Well, I happen to know
Not
that. I
by
saw it with
my
my own eyes.
Yeah, but I didn't do it.
You know what? You'll sit there for 18 months in the county. You know what?
That's true, if not longer. And that, when it does go down, if I do wind up in a bad situation, I'll appeal until the day I die.
Okay, well, good. You're going to have
I
nothing but
want to
time.
know
You're
her.
going to have nothing but
She's
time.
gone. I don't care about me.
So
She's
just do right
gone.
by her and tell the truth.
I didn't do this to her. That's what you failed to get.
Yeah, he's good to go.
This man just beat my girlfriend up.
All right, you stand up, face up against the wall.
Throughout the investigation, Danny believed he had outsmarted the detectives, until the trial. On April 19, 2016, Danny Johnson was apprehended in Reynoldsburg, Ohio at his father's home around 11:30 a.m. He was granted a $1 million bond before the trial, but in the end, he was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison, along with a 2-year concurrent sentence for tampering with evidence. His defense attorney argued that witness McQueen had been intoxicated that night, and her description of events differed, making her testimony unreliable. However, the lab reports showed that Danny's DNA was found on Howatt's clothing, and her blood was found on Danny's shoes. This damning evidence was enough to lay the foundation for the bleak future that awaits him in prison. As we conclude this case, we're left with grappling questions. How effectively are domestic violence cases addressed within the homeless community? And could Cathleen have been saved if bystanders had reported the abuse to the police? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We value your insights and support. For more such harrowing cases, subscribe to our channel.